This year is easier than ever for you to be grinding within EAFC. EA have made some changes to various game modes, in particular squad battles, making it so much more profitable and also worth your time. And in today's video, I'm going to be going through absolutely everything. But before we do, if you don't want to spend the time grinding squad battles and you just want to be at the point where you have coins available in your account, then there is no better place than U4GM. U4GM offers cheap, fast and reliable EAFC coins so that you can build the teams you want to build, open the packs you want to open, pretty much do what you want to do without needing to go through absolutely everything that we're going to be going through within today's video. There is a link in the description down below, and to make this even better, if you use code Fanatic, you'll also get yourself a 5% discount. Now, let's actually get back into today's video. Squad battles is not new. It's been around for quite a few years, and the basic premise remains the same. You simply play a single player game, select the difficulty, and by playing that game and hopefully winning, you will be rewarded with points. If you lose the game, you still get points, but just not as much. And the overall goal is to get as many points as possible. Now, unlike other game modes which are based on a weekly reward system such as Division Rivals, which requires you to either get 3 wins or 7 wins every single week, Squad Battles is not based on wins, it is based on points, and for you to achieve certain ranks, you must be within a percentage. For example, in order for you to be within Elite 1, you need to be within the top 3% of everyone in terms of points that has played Squad Battles for that week. Normally around 40 to 50,000 points, I believe it to be. But this year there has been one slight change which makes it more profitable and, well, worth your time. EA have reduced the total half length. Halves are now around 4 minutes each, meaning that a game, if everything just went smoothly, would be around 8 minutes, except it never really does. There's always cutscenes, cinematics, times the ball goes out, and this all gradually adds up, especially with the halftime menu. These games now normally take around 10 minutes, which still is quicker than what you would go through in terms of Division Rivals. Division Rival games normally end up being 14-15 minutes long because you end up playing against someone else online who, of course, depending on their attitude, may sit there and watch every single replay. But with Squad Battles, it's up to you when you wish to skip. The amount of coins that you get per game is still going to be around 500 to 800. But there is a way to be extremely efficient in that you want to get to a maximum of 5 goals, making sure that you don't concede, there's 0 fouls, there's 0 offsides. This overall affects your final coin balance. If you get more goals, it doesn't change anything. You don't get more coins for that. In fact, you are just wasting time at that point because now you have scored a goal, you're going through the replays, all the cinematics, everything to do with you scoring a goal and, well, not to be rewarded for it. So max out at 5 goals and carry on with the rest of the game. Pass it round the back if you wish to do so. But with that basic premise out the way, let's actually go through and how we can exploit this best. Firstly, in terms of your weekly routine, it shouldn't be a priority. Even though there have been some changes which makes it more profitable, it still isn't the thing that you should be doing first. I still recommend that at the start of the week, you go through Division Rivals, get either 3 to 7 wins to max that out. Once you achieve that, there's no real reason for you to continuously grind that game mode unless you're needing qualification points. Once you do have those qualification points, that's when you move over to the Champions Playoffs, qualify, and of course get ready for the FUT Champions Final on the weekend. But in between that point where you have completed Division Rivals, you've already gone through your Champions Playoffs, you've qualified for the Weekend League, but it yet hasn't started, that's when you grind out Squad Battles. For most people, they may only have time to do 1 or 2 games per week, in which it is still worth it. 10 to 20 minutes in order for you to go just through 1 or 2 games. And if you are a confident player, you can increase the difficulty, and just by getting a few thousand, you'll probably end up being within gold. Now, the rewards for this as you are playing against the AI aren't particularly amazing, but it's better than nothing. As said at the beginning when going through the basic premise of Squad Battles, it is dependent on points. And the higher the difficulty you select for the AI, the more points you'll be rewarded at the end, except it's not all done on a level playing field. because the team that you play against, based on their rating, their positions, their overall quality, will also depend on difficulty, but you can still get a lot of points. It's certainly worth viewing teams before you go into a game, because if you notice that your opponent that you're going to be facing has got a full bronze team and an all-out position, you can actually increase the difficulty by 1 or 2 in order for you to get more points, but it's still being a relatively easy game. Whereas if it is a team which is full chem, some of the best players within Ultimate Team, and also has got fairly good chemistry, you're going to struggle with that if that is outside of the difficulty you normally play on, in which just stick to what you normally go for and play through. As a whole, you should be changing the difficulty on a match by match basis rather than just setting it as semi-pro, professional, ultimate, whatever difficulty you play on, and having that for every single game, because you can squeeze a few extra points out here and there. If you are trying to go for elite rewards or even the top 200, and I said earlier, for you to get into elite 1, it's normally about 40 to 50,000. For you to get into the top 200, I believe you're going to need 80,000 plus, potentially even more than that. But for you to go through all of this, you're also going to need to play all 32 games. But many people don't know that if you do play all 32 games, you can actually keep on playing through squad battles. It just won't reward you with points for you to continue progressing for that week. However, if there are objectives available which allow you to go through squad battles or division rivals, whatever it may be, normally there's an option, and you're struggling to do it in division rivals, but you've played all your squad battle games that week, you can still go through, you can still complete those challenges, and you can still be rewarded with them. You just cannot be rewarded with the points for squad battles itself. There will also be moments throughout the year where it's worth grinding squad battles more than other game modes, mainly because there is a reduced attention, shall we say, to squad battles, and based on the point system being based around percentages for the reward structure, it becomes a lot easier for you to get to those higher percentages because the amount of points are needed has been reduced. So typically now, at the time recording this video, it's the Ultimate Edition release and Standard Edition has not got the game. Now is actually a point in which the amount of points required is less. But the very first week of the Standard Edition is a week in which you probably should avoid because it is going to be extremely high. But as time goes on and less people actually play this game, you can have less and less points required in order for you to get to those higher ranks, especially towards the end of Ultimate Team. In between each game that you play, it's definitely worth having a few trading methods. You don't need to do anything too crazy. We've already gone through a few basic ones here on this channel. So take a very simple method such as bulk bidding or the silver trading method to start trading with players, buy them, then go into the game. And that way, once you do finally complete that game, you will still get about 500 to 800 coins for the match itself. But then you can go back to your watch list, see that you've won some trades, list them, go out, start bidding again, go into another match, receive 500 to 800 coins again, and hopefully this time when you come back, you've sold some players, you've won some players. This is a rule that should be applied to every single game mode that you go through because the amount of coins you generate on the transfer market is far better, is way better than what you can generate in game. Now on a week by week basis, of course, these game modes get slightly better with your weekly rewards, but you're still going to need to wait for your weekly rewards. Speaking of which, waiting for weekly rewards. Squad battles pays out every single Sunday, but depending what's happening on the week, it may also be worth holding on to those packs until a certain day. Maybe the current team of the week isn't that good, as well as the current Friday promo in which you want to save those packs until the following week until something good is finally added. With this, it still doesn't guarantee that you're going to get anything good, but I would much rather have a chance of getting something good which is amazing rather than getting something that isn't good. Hence why I'm also a player who ends up preparing for major promos such as Team of the Year, Team of the Season. And finally, for you to really be making as much money as possible through this game mode, you need to be linking it up to objectives. We did talk about this briefly earlier, but please do go through the objectives that you have and see what's available there. In a lot of cases, it's going to require you to have just 1 or 2 players of a certain team, certain league, certain nationality, maybe a certain position or rating, maybe even a very specific type of special card, which you could potentially get as a lone player. And then it's either assist, score goals, score from a specific way, such as a header, a penalty, free kick, or it might be as simple as play a certain amount of matches. On top of that, this year we do also have evolutions, and so far a lot of the basic level evolutions will allow you to go through squad battles in which it is just about playing games. So the team in which you use within squad battles shouldn't really be your main team in which you're using to compete within division rivals, the FUT Champions playoffs and the FUT Champions final. Put together an objective team. A team which is only there for the sole purpose of completing objectives. As you are selecting the difficulty for the games that you go into, you want it to be somewhat challenging so you're maximizing points, but at the exact same time, easy for you to complete the objectives at hand. That way you're able to upgrade evolution players much quicker, much more efficiently, and also you're able to complete those other objectives which are going to reward you with packs and also coins. If you use absolutely everything that we've gone through within this video, you are going to be able to earn a much higher amount of coins for the amount of games that you play within squad battles compared to most other players. You don't even need to be going through all 32 because let's be real, even though the halves have been reduced, that's still a very long time. So you don't need to go and play all 32 games for this to be profitable. If you are looking for some very easy and risk-free trading methods to use alongside whilst you're going through squad battles, I highly recommend clicking this video on screen. That video will go through absolutely everything that you need to know. I hope you enjoy.